Hello buddy, Crow here, and I just wanted to make a video about Mystery Science Theater 3000. Again, now if you didn't know, I am a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and my channel name, in fact, comes from one of the characters from that show. And the show's been gone for 17 years. Last episode actually aired 1999, somewhat thenabouts. And I didn't think the show was going to come back. So, so had I known the show was going to come back, I might not have made my channel just Crow like it is. But hindsight is 2020, and I'm fine with it the way it was, or the way it is. Was, as, in, and is. But coming up on Friday, this Friday, April 14th, Netflix is going to be posting the new season of Mystery Science Theater 3000. 14 episodes, 14 movies to be riffed on. And the reason I'm posting this is kind of, awareness for that. Watch these episodes on Netflix. But also that I've already seen the first episode. Because I was a Kickstarter backer at a certain level. I don't remember what the limit was. There was a time period, the day, pretty much the whole day Sunday. I mean, as I'm filming this, it's already Monday evening. 6:30 my time. I just got home from work. I decided to do this video, and I watched the first episode on Sunday because it was available to stream just for Sunday, and I thought I'd give my thoughts on that. But in addition to that, and something I kind of had completely forgotten about, since I was a backer at a certain level, I can actually watch all the episodes in advance starting today. It was starting this morning. And I realized that, I might have taken the week off of work. But I kind of, since I'd watched the first episode, I kind of want to give you my thoughts on it. I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but just kind of my thoughts on that. And after that, since I started doing the last Q&A video, I had a whole bunch of questions. Some of those were Mystery Science Theater 3000 related, so I'll kind of answer those. I think there's 4 of them. So this might be a really quick video, and I'm sorry if you're sick of Mystery Science Theater 3000, but for me, this is my favorite show. I like it as much, if not more, than I like video games as a whole as well. So pretty much I finished, what's funny is I just finished Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild yesterday, and it's perfect timing because I'm not doing anything else. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm not making any more videos, I'm not editing any videos, I'm not playing any games until I get through all of the remaining 13 episodes I haven't seen for the new season of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And then I will probably put up another video, kind of my thoughts of the whole series, and then we can kind of get back to video game stuff. But yeah, the first episode, there was a trailer that came out a week or so ago, and it got me really, really hyped. Okay, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, because I've been watching these episodes a lot, the Joel era episodes, the Mike era episodes. This show ran for 11 seasons previous. There's season 0, and I've watched them all, okay, repeatedly. For the last, I don't know how many years, at least since it was still airing, I watched at least an episode a day, average-wise. So I've got a lot of the quips, the jokes, just the voices, and that's where my mind goes when I hear certain things. I think, oh, that reminds me of something that happened in Mystery Science Theater 3000. So when this Kickstarter was, I knew it was going to be different. I knew that this new season was going to be different, but because pretty much Joel is back, but the rest of the cast is brand new, so the voices were going to be different. The jokes I was expecting to be different, but I'm here to tell you that based on what I saw from the first episode so far, man, if you have to wait till Friday to watch it, it's going to be well worth it. I think, for me, it reminded me of more of the Joel era episodes than the Mike era episodes. And if you're a bigger fan of the Mike era episodes, you might be slightly disappointed, I think. But I mean, there are certain things that it's just like the show evolved for 17 years. And we missed it. And when we got to this certain point, it's like familiar, but still foreign in a way. To start out with, one of the things that kind of threw me off with this first episode, and I'll have to make a comment on this when I see the second and onward episodes, is that the show didn't start with just the theme song like it previously had done. There was kind of a little setup moment where they kind of explained how Jonah got stranded up in space. But it didn't start with the theme song. There was like a bunch. Will Wheaton was part of that. Sorry if that was a spoiler, but he's like in the first couple minutes of the first episode. So it's not really much of a spoiler. But they explain how he kind of got into, the situation he was put into, and then it kind of segued into the theme song in such a way that I don't really know where the theme song kind of started. But as for how it related back to the way the show was, I mean, previously, obviously, it was being aired on television, whereas now it's streaming. But they still put in the bumpers for commercial breaks, and I think that's awesome. You still got the skits. Normally they broke during the movie 3 times for skits, I think, and then the final skit at the end. Of course, the one at the beginning. So it's like 5 segments overall. The same format. There's even the bumpers in between the segments where they didn't have the skits too. And they have this band playing previous music from other MST3K episodes. They don't delve too much into the plot of why Kinga Forrester now is doing these experiments, or how the robots got back up on the satellite I love. But I did watch the Q&A that occurred after that episode, or during Sunday. It happened during Sunday. And I think these are things that'll get explained as the season goes along. And if it doesn't get explained, it's not something that could just get explained, in another season if they do have a season 12. And again, the only way to really nail home that there's going to be a season 12 is to watch this on Netflix. So even though I do have these episodes available for streaming on the service called VHX, I will be watching the series again on Netflix when Friday comes around, repeatedly, in fact. So I highly advise you all, if you do find some sort of way to bootleg the episodes and not have Netflix, watch them on Netflix. Get other people to watch it on Netflix, because from what I saw in the first episode, it's just great. Again, since I'm not used to the voices, sometimes it's hard for me to tell who's talking, who's making a joke. Another thing is that the jokes are much more rapid fire than they were before. And again, it seems more like Joel episode jokes than Mike episode jokes. I don't know if I could give an exact example of that, but it's just the way I feel. I don't know. I mean, I did watch this over a day ago, but that's what stuck in my mind, these jokes. And the first movie, I'm going to spoil what the first movie is. That was just an awesome movie to start out with, and hopefully they're all of that kind of quality for the whole season. Just a really bad foreign monster movie. This one in particular was from, was it Denmark? It was a Danish movie monster, I believe it was. So yeah, the movie itself was hilariously bad on its own, but then the rapid fire quipping from Jonah and the robots. On top of that, now that they're in the theater, there's a lot more interaction with the shadows than there were before. Crow and Servo, Crow in particular got up at one point. Servo, his hover skirt completely works now. He's flying all over the theater. And not to the point to where it's totally distracting, not constantly, but it happened at least 2 or 3 times during this one viewing. Gypsy even showed up in the theater, and they changed her design, so now she's hanging from the ceiling. That was one of the things that really threw me off. The new voices for most of the characters, I'm totally behind. I know I'll totally be able to get used to them. Gypsy's going to take me a little bit longer, because no longer does she sound the way she did. It was a guy with that really raspy voice, and the reason they explained that before is because she had so much of a power drain from running the ship that she couldn't talk normally. There was one older episode where they ceased a lot of the functions so she could talk normally. But now she's got a regular voice. Jonah's just like, hey, I fixed her voice and gave her a new voice, and now it's a totally female voice. So that kind of throws me off. But again, not to the point to where I'm saying I hate it or anything. But yeah, I kind of after that kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, when they didn't I like the way they kind of started. They kind of explained how Jonah got up there, and then all of a sudden, bam! Right after the theme song, 2 months have passed. So there's no, kind of real growing pains for Jonah or anything. But yeah, and it's kind of how they did it for Mike and everything too. They had when Joel left and Mike came on board. That next episode, I think it was The Brain That Wouldn't Die. They started that episode off like he'd been there for a little bit, and this was his first experiment, and that's kind of how they did this as well. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that now that the theater, most people have widescreen television. In fact, all people, everything's widescrreen these days, HD. They had to reaccommodate the shadows, so the shadows are a little bit smaller, a little bit not noticeable, but you can still notice them. I think that was something they had to do with the new aspect ratio, but I think they made up for it by having the characters kind of be a little bit more interactive, especially Tom Servo. There was a couple times where Gypsy showed up, and I couldn't figure out what she was doing in the theater, and that was something that was brought up in the Q&A, and it was something that's just going to be revealed later. So I guess you have to kind of watch these episodes in order to get kind of a plot line. It's the kind of thing where you watch them in order to understand certain things as they happen, I guess, but you could watch any episode at any time as well, because the movies are individual. It's kind of like how the show was maybe after season 5 or 6, where there was an arc, especially season 5, where you had the first half that was Joel and the second half that was Mike, and then season 6 really started to have these story arcs. There's no real story arc from what I could tell yet from the first episode, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a couple of arcs that happened during the season. Again, I think I've pretty much said everything I want to say about this. Watch it. You won't be disappointed. I swear to you. Well, I can't really. I'll swear to you. I can swear. But I was not disappointed. I really wasn't. A lot of people that I've seen talking about it have not been disappointed. And if you're on the fence of whether or not the show is going to be completely ruined or not, I don't think that'll be the case. Of course, I think there might be some people out there that might say, yeah, I don't like this now at all. But yeah, there are going to be people like that. So, but I think that most people who were a fan of the show will still be a fan of this new incarnation going forward with season 11. And that's the nice thing too, is for the past 10 years or so, we've had riff tracks. There's been Cinematic Titanic. But Riff Tracks is the one that's still going on with Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett, the previous trio that were on the Saturday Night Love. But Riff Tracks, I think, can coexist with this, because Riff Tracks seems to be, the jokes and everything seem completely different than MST3K. With Riff Tracks, you've got the whole movie from beginning to end, no breaks, no points at which the movie stops for jokes or skits or anything. No shadows on the screen. Totally different type of jokes, it almost seems like, as well. Whereas it just feels like an older Mystery Science Theater 3000 upgraded for the current day. And another thing I wanted to mention is that the robot's arms now work, which some people I think is a little bit blasphemous, but it's weird. They're using more puppeteers to control these robots. So now, Servo, he's flying around. His arms are moving. Crow's arms are moving. I don't want to spoil too much, but there is one point during the movie which Crow takes a bottle and breaks it. Crow is grabbing stuff, taking it off screen. His arms work. So that may be another one of the biggest differences, but again, I think it's an improvement for the better. I'm just really excited. I'm going to answer some of these questions, and I'm going to heat myself up a pizza and sit right here and watch the new season till I fall asleep. I'm going to get through 4 episodes tonight if I'm lucky. Again, I got to go to work, and then I'll put up another video sometime after I'm done watching the whole season. So let's get to the questions and answers portion of the video. Again, like I said, I did the last Q&A because everybody seemed to have forgotten that I'd done this. So if you do want to ask me a question, especially a Mystery Science Theater related question, I might answer it in the next video as well when I talk about the whole season as a whole. But I'm just going to go through, I have 26 questions here. 5 of them are Mystery Science Theater related. So I will answer those. And we'll start with this first one from Hi Kiba. Do you know any martial arts? Hi Kiba. Now, may not seem like a Mystery Science Theater question, but Hi Kiba is one of the catchphrases of the show, as it were. First started in way back in season 1 with the women of the prehistoric planet. And I do not know any martial... Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I should say I do know martial arts, so nobody tries to jump me. Yeah, we'll say that I do know martial arts. Next question from Pod Music Records. If you had a new age band, what would you call it? And again, that doesn't seem like a Mystery Science Theater question, but it is, because that was from Pod People, season 3 episode, and I don't know, some guys in space. Honestly, that's the only thing I can think of now when I hear of a name for a new age band. And if you know what I mean, you get the reference. If you don't, doesn't matter. Next question. I accuse Crow. What are some of your favorite MST3K skits/segments? I accuse Crow is, of course, a parody a parody of the movie I Accuse My Parents. So I've been accused. But this is a hard one to answer because there's so many segments, going through the, around 200 episodes. Just give a couple. One of the first ones that always comes to my mind that I really like is the one from the Pod People, which was when Joel and the bots make fun of that song. It's the Idiot Control song. So there's that one. Also on that same episode had the one where they were making fun of Trumpy, you could do stupid things, and everything's just flying around going crazy. As for Mike era episodes, I do like the Cowboy Mike's own original Red Hot Ricochet barbecue sauce. That whole skit is really good. And also from the Screaming Skull, the one where Crow had painted his head like a skull. Mike thought it was a skull. He comes back with a golf club and just beats his head. And I think that one was pretty good. But again, there's just so many. There's a couple of them that I think were duds, but most of them I like. But those are the ones that kind of stick out in my mind. Let's go with next question from Fridge Large Meat. Crow, if you were the Prince of Space, what would you tell us? Okay, well, Fridge Large Meat is a reference from Space Mutiny, where they used to call the main character David Wright, or a whole bunch of different names, and Fridge Large Meat is probably one of them. Prince of Space is a movie that they riffed, a different movie. And Prince of Space, your puny planet is doom. So that's what the Prince of Space would tell us. And if I were the Prince of Space... Oh, wait a minute. That was Crankor. Why am I thinking of Crankor? What would the Prince of Space say? I don't know. He'd say, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Crankor stole the movie, so stand back. Prince of Space would just probably tell everybody, stand back, let me take care of it, whatever. And then finally, last question here from Timmy111. Oh, you know what? I get what you did there. If you didn't know, Timmy is Crow's evil doppelganger. My channel name is at one point, well, it still is kind of, Crow111. So this is Timmy111. He's my evil counterpart. Will you review each new episode of MST3K? I don't think I will, but like I said, I will kind of give you my thoughts on the season as on a whole when it's over and I watch the whole thing. So there you go. Again, watch it on Netflix. If you have Netflix, please watch it. I shouldn't have to say please, but yeah, honestly, if you're not interested in it, then don't watch it. But if you're not interested in it, I don't think you care what I have to say about it either. Anyway, I'm going to end the video now. Thanks for watching. See you all next time, and which will be after I watch the entire season. Thanks. See you all next time. Bye.